What's going on, guys? Lucas here. So I'm so pumped up right now. I just finished doing my financial aid not too long ago. I'm looking at housing now. This whole full sale thing is happening, guys. It is. I know I've talked a lot of stuff in the past that I say I'm gonna do and I never do it. This is happening, and I'm so excited and getting emotional thinking about it because, I've always wanted to go to school. I know, sometimes I make fun of it and stuff, not wanting to go and that it's stupid, but I've always wanted to. So, really pumped up that I'm going to be going soon. Well, next year, but still, it's still really cool. And I'm going to be living in Florida, which is, I want to say as far back, 6 years ago, I always wanted to live in, Tampa or, Bradenton, Florida. It's so cool, that I'm actually going to be doing this. Okay, guys, what is up? It is Lucas here. So, I was going to make this whole, video about my transplant, the 1-year transplant, a separate video, and I was going to go really long and in-depth about it, but I decided just to do it as a vlog, because that's me. That's what I do. It's a vlog. So, it's been 1 year since I've had my transplant. It's been one hell of a year. That's all I can say. It's been, I don't even know, a lot of ups and downs in this last year. So, let's talk about first why I had to have the transplant. I had to have the transplant because I have something called Vater syndrome. That's, each letter stands for something different. If you guys want more about it, you can go ahead and look it up. I don't want to get into all of it. But V is vertebrae, A is anus, T is trachea, E is esophageal, and R is renal. So I have the vertebrae, the anus, and the renal. So with not having proper renal function, when I was born, I didn't have any kidneys at all. So I had my first transplant when I was 2.5 years old. And over time, my kidney began to deteriorate and fail. It started rejecting, that's the name that they gave it. Antibody-mediated rejection is what it was called. So, with that, came a lot of hardships. It was all very difficult and stressful when we found out. I mean, I found out about my kidney failing in 2007, 6 or 7. Maybe it was 2005. I think it was 2005, actually, now that I think about it. But, what had happened, the reason it was beginning to fail and just not working like it should have been, I had really, really bad pneumonia when I was in 5th grade. So, the pneumonia that I had, literally killed me almost. I was in a coma for, 2 weeks. My kidney failed. Then, my kidney didn't work. I didn't have any urine output from my urostomy, and they literally just said, give it time, I guess. This is what my mom and my family have told me. They said, give it time. Just give it time. And that's what we did. And finally, my kidney started working again. But obviously, my kidney had taken a big hit from that. So, over time, it began failing again and again. Or not failing again and again, but failing, it became worse and worse over time. So, after that, a lot of other things happened. I do have a urostomy and a colostomy bag. I've never said that to anybody or anything. It's just, it's out there now. And because of all the surgery that I've had, because of my urostomy and stuff, my transplant, other surgeries that I've had, I had a hernia above that, and we had a couple scares with that. One time, because my first kidney was put on my right side. It's still there, apparently. I don't know if it's still there. Could have deteriorated. I don't freaking know. So, I had that, and originally the plan was, when we decided to do when we were going to do transplant, we were going to fix my hernia, move my urostomy, get that all figured out. So that was always the plan. Then, I kind of went a little crazy. I started to get healthier. I was at one point the healthiest I've ever been in my life, they said, around 2013, 2014. And then my dumbass decided to go to the adult world. I should have never done that, according to my mom. No, I'm kidding. But because I was so healthy, they decided to transfer me over to the adult world from pediatrics because they didn't think at the time that my kidney would ever be, it would be a while, I guess I should say. This was 2014, 2013 that this was said. So I got transferred over to the adult world, and that's when things started going downhill. I began to get, like, ill sometimes, and I was having a lot of UTIs and stuff like that, which for me, because of the urostomy, the UTI for me is a kidney infection, really. And I'll get into that in a few minutes, but that the infection in the kidney is not good. It was just taking hits after hits after hits. And finally, we decided that we needed to try to do something, so we tried to stop it. I had some rituximab, which is like a chemo treatment, in a way. I had that. That kind of helped. And then finally, you know, it just kind of started, like, we kind of started realizing, okay, gonna have to have this done. So March, I believe it was, of 2016, I put out there that I had to have a transplant. And actually, in 2015, if you remember or 14 actually, when I started these vlogs, they were going to do transplant then. If you remember, I was having biopsies back then, if you guys have watched my videos that long. But you guys have noticed, or you guys have been there for that. So they were doing biopsies, and they could just tell it was failing. Finally, 2016 came around, and they were thinking they were going to have to do it that year. I put all this stuff out there, like I needed a donor, and so many people came through, and I was so extremely thankful for that. And, a few people got tested, a few people called to get tested. Fortunately, some things they couldn't, which is okay, So finally, Kevin got tested, and he was a match, which, I kind of I've never said this out, publicly or anything, but I really kind of always wanted Kevin to be a donor in a way, and I always figured he would be, because we're so close, and it just, I always say things happen for a reason. The people that are in your life for a reason, and yes, Kevin is my cousin, but Kevin and I are really much more closer than cousins. He's like my brother. Sometimes he's like my father because of how he tells me to do stuff and always telling me to grow up and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I kind of was I got really excited when he told me he was a donor, or was eligible to give me a kidney. So he had all the workups done and all that good stuff, and that was really, exciting. And then we could have done the transplant then. We could have done it in June of 2016. But because of my body, and I've had so many surgeries, and my immune system and all that good stuff, we decided to just wait until the absolute latest we could do this. So I talked to my coordinator, one day. I remember this is going to be crazy. I never really said that in a video either. I was sitting at Haley's work, and I got a phone call from my transplant coordinator. And I was sitting there in a booth, and she said, "Lucas, we need to do this transplant in a month." I believe this was after Valentine's Day, I think. I don't remember for sure. But it was okay, let me look on a calendar really quickly. I think it was the 23rd. The 22nd or 23rd of February. Maybe, yeah, I think that. So it was 2 weeks from then that they decided this. Or 2 weeks from the 9th that they decided this. she's like, we need to do this. It's probably going to be next month sometime. I want Dr. D'Alessandro to do it. So that was done, and we talked about it. And I remember, like, I had, I'm a very, 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 very tough person. Or I try to act tough, I guess I should say sometimes. And I try not to let my emotions get the best of me with these things. But I remember, like, sitting in that restaurant, and I just put my hands, like, in my head like this, and just started, like, I didn't start crying or anything, but I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And Haley came over, and she, I told her, I was like, I have to have transplant soon. I'll talk to you later. And then I, like, proposed, which was weird. Not really, kinda. I did. But anyway, that's off subject. But yeah. So I called my mom. I paid my bill, went and called my mom. I was like, Mom, they want to do transplant soon. I believe it was the next day that I got a call from Beth, and she's like, we want to do it March 9th. And Kevin, I remember texting Kevin, he's like, I don't know if that'll work. I have a vacation. And I told Beth that, and she's like, hold on. She hung up the phone, called back, and, like, literally the moment my phone rang, I got a message from Kevin, and he's like, March 9th. And Beth, I answered the phone, she's like, March 9th. And I'm like, okay, March 9th it is. We'll do this. And I was so unbelievably scared at the time. I don't even know how to explain, like, the emotions that were going through my mind, or the feelings that I was having. But it was just really, really crazy, and it didn't set in until, like, a week before I had transplant. Like, I just didn't think about it for a week, and finally that week that it kind of, it kind of set in. I'm just like, wow, this is happening. And it's happening. It's happened. It's been a year. We're a year out from this. So that's kind of the beginning of that, how all that happened. And now let's get into the transplant whole thing of it. So I remember the day before transplant, I went and had all my workups done. Just like the final, they do a bunch of blood tests to make sure you're okay. Had to go see urology about my hernia and stuff like that. And they did a urine test, and my urine was not clean. But it never is, because I have a urostomy, so I pee into a bag. I know that sounds crazy, and I can't believe I'm putting this in a video, but I've held this for so long. My battery's gonna die. Hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, hold on. I'm going to change my battery, and then I'll continue talking. So the day before transplant, I was having all the tests done. And I remember, like, you go through and you see everybody that, like your surgeon, your coordinator, everything like that. And I remember the funny thing was, because of my, urostomy, colostomy, I remember Dr. D'Alessandro looking at me. He's like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun surgery. So, I've always, like I said, I try not to take things, try not to be too emotionally invested in things and too serious about things, and I just kind of laughed it off. I'm like, I'm glad I'm giving you some work, or some fun, I don't know how I said it, like, I'm glad I'm giving you something fun to do tomorrow. I think I said something like that. And finally, Beth came in, and that's when I cried. She's like, so, Lucas, this kidney's gonna last way longer than I'll be around, here. So, she's like, you're gonna be getting a new coordinator after you're all healed and stuff. And my mom started crying, I started crying, and, because Beth has been my coordinator from the very beginning, like, before I had transplant. She was the one doing all this, and I've known her for my whole life, 25 years, 24, 23 years, and it was really hard, and I wasn't really excited about that, so that kind of put a little downer on my day. I was trying to be as positive throughout the day as I could have been, so, that happened, and then met up with Kevin, Jody, and Kevin's dad, Big Kev, and we went to dinner. And it was funny because, like, when I say I was scared to death for the surgery that day, that day and night, it's the truth. I don't know why, but I had, like, it's like, this is gonna be my last surgery. I'm gonna probably die. I don't know why. It's probably bad that I thought that, and, you know, kind of stupid that I thought that, I guess. But yeah. So I just, like, I was scared to death. Really, I was. And I remember we went to eat and do all that good stuff and just hung out and all that. And then went back up to the room, and I remember it was going to be Haley's birthday in a couple days. Her birthday is the 13th. So I remember like, okay, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to, I don't even know if I'm going to be awake, alive, let alone that much. Like, I remember I said I was scared to death. So I was, like, getting flowers for her birthday to make sure they were sent to her work and all that good stuff. And I was just like, this was like at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I still had to shower because before you have surgery, you have to take, like, a really good shower where you clean yourself very, very well. You have to use 2 showers, actually. And you have to use special soap, all that good stuff. So I did all that. And then the weirdest thing happened. I got the best sleep I thought I would ever get. I legit watched Catfish for a few hours. Not a few hours, actually, like 35 minutes, maybe that. And I remember I fell asleep watching Catfish, and I'm like, okay. When I woke up, I was like, okay, this is cool. That I got some good sleep. I was really excited about that. Even though, it was funny because Kevin was texting me, like, you need to go to bed, man, And I was like, well, you need to go to bed, too. He's like, I'm going to sleep enough tomorrow. So that was kind of a running joke that we had was, oh, I'm going to sleep enough tomorrow. And then it was the day of the surgery, and I remember my mom was taking a shower, and Big Kev called. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just getting ready. My mom's in the shower. He's like, oh, well, they want you here now. I was like, oh, okay. This was at like 6 in the morning, and my surgery was scheduled for 9:30. What's going on? Why do they want me there now? Is something wrong? Can they not do it? So I got there, and we went and talked to Kevin, and for a little bit, and, talked to his family, took some pictures and stuff like that, which was really cool, really, whatever, not whatever, but, just spending some time together before the transplant, or before the actual surgery, and then they took me back, and literally, this was like probably 6:30 in the morning we got there, because we were staying right next to the hospital. So this was probably 6:30 when we got there. I was in my room, my little pre-op room, at like 6:45 probably. And then, they came in, the doctors came in, they started talking. And that's kind of when it starts to get scary. And, like, I still, like, I'm kind of, sweaty and nervous thinking about, like, all the doctors coming in, and, like, that's when it starts to get scary for me, at least. They're like, hey, we need to get an IV going, so, because I hate, if you've known me, you know that I hate having the mask put on. Like, this even freaks me out, putting my hand that freaks me out. I hate having things over my face, like, claustrophobic, I guess, is what it would be. So, they were working on an IV, and I remember, still to this day, they got the IV, like, right in this area, right up here, which was so weird. And they took me back, and I was in operating room 11. This was at 7:45, by the way. This is when they took me back. My surgery was scheduled for 9:30, but because of all the stuff that they wanted to do, they took me back at 7:30, 7:45-ish. I remember being wheeled back, and we were kind of like, the nurses, I always love nurses. Nurses at the hospitals, like, I mean, I've only had surgery at 2 hospitals, 3 hospitals, I think. And the one in Chicago and the one in Madison are my favorite because the nurses try to calm you down. They relax you, so they talk to you. So you're not overthinking things and, like, not like, oh my god, I'm going to have surgery right now. And I remember, actually, let me rewind a little bit. Before we went in, I remember it was me, my mom, my dad, my Aunt Vicky, not my Aunt Vicky, my Aunt Nancy, and my Aunt Deanna were all there, and my dad's girlfriend. And I remember I was like, okay, everybody, let's too sweet. That was the last thing I did. I was like, well, back to I was scared to death. I was like, well, if I die, the last thing I did to my family was say, I love you, too sweet, or too sweet, too sweet. So yeah, that was really funny to me. And I remember all the nurses were laughing, and that was one of the things we talked about. They're like, oh, so what was that, like, woof dog thing you were doing? I was like, it's called a Too Sweet. It's wrestling. One of my favorite teams is the Bullet Club and the Balor Club, and that's what they do, is they Too Sweet. And so went back there, and then they did what was called a timeout for the surgery. They just kind of, this is Lucas, he's 24, and at the time I was 230 pounds. 230 pounds, why did I talk like Conor McGregor? 230 pounds, 5 foot. We are doing we're doing possibly three things today. Kidney transplant on the left, blah blah blah. Possible hernia repair on the right side, and PICC line insertion. And Kevin was getting his stuff done. And when they did the timeout, that's when I started losing my shit. And I was just like, I started crying. Okay? I'm gonna admit this. This is the vlog. This is the expose vlog. So, I said, I'm scared. I started crying. I'm like, I'm so scared. They're like, it's okay, sweetie. It's okay. And one of the most comforting things that anybody can ever do, is like, go like this. Like, brush my hair to the side like that, and just kind of like go like that. And that's what they started doing. And I kind of relaxed a little bit. Then I fell asleep. And I woke up 7 hours later. And the first thing I said when I woke up is, I pissed myself. Which is funny because I have the urostomy. So what happens is it can get full and it can come off. And what had happened in surgery, when they hooked up my new kidney, I pissed out a liter right away. That's how good it worked. And it got full and it came off. So they had to put a new one on. And the doctor, I forgot her name, didn't put it on correctly, I guess, so it was off. And they changed it. And I fell back asleep, and they're like, we're going to take you to your room now, Lucas. The robot's finished cleaning it. And I was like, okay. They have robots clean their room in Madison, by the way. That's a true thing. Like, I thought I was hallucinating when she said that. But, so, I got back up to my room, and I remember doing this. I go, gangsters, what up, players? Gangsters, what's up, guys? To my mom, my dad, and Big Kev and Jody, I believe, were in my room at the time. And I remember kind of being in and out of it, and I posted on Facebook, new kidney, who dis? Because I thought that was hilarious for some reason. And I remember it was funny, because I just, I told Kevin, I told Jody, and my mom, I was like, yeah, when I wake up tomorrow, when I come back to see you guys, when I see you, I'm gonna be like, quote, super bad, and say, gangsters, what up, players? Because that's what that's from. And I did, and I can't believe I remembered that. And I remember that was just really funny. So, I slept for like 2 days straight after that. If you remember, Eric actually had to vlog for me. So, that was kind of fun. But, I remember texting him, because my mom, kind of, woke me up. She's like, Lucas, what about your videos? And I was like, oh, give me my phone. And I don't know if I have the message or not, still. But I remember saying, let me see if I do. Well, that's a long, yeah, because I'm only in December. But I think I like texted him and said, I think I was like something like, dude, I'm drugged. My password and my email is this for YouTube. Can you upload me a video? And he's like, got it. And I remember watching it the next day, and it was a good video. I laughed. So, Eric, thank you for that. You're like my brother. So, God bless you for that. And it was funny because Kevin came in sometime, and I remember, like, for some reason I didn't think I could move. I thought I was restrained to the bed. And I remember I was like, I can't move, I can't move. So he, like, kind of, like, grabbed my neck and gave me a hug. I remember I kissed him on the cheek. He's like, ooh, frisky. Yeah. And then I remember I texted him, I said, you're inside me, LOL. So I finally remember waking up and having to try to walk. And I remember I got really, really, really dizzy the first time. And I remember my nurse was Rachel. And Rachel is one of my favorite nurses I've ever had. Her and Teresa are some of my favorite nurses. So, I remember Rachel was like, damn it, I knew that would happen. So, she's like, okay, lay down, lay down. And, so I did that. And then I remember the next day, I think I was up and, like, sitting up in a chair eating breakfast. And she came in, she's like, wow, change of pace from you, eh? And I was like, yep, change of pace indeed. And I remember the doctor coming in at one point when I was knocked out, saying, Lucas, I don't have an award for you, but we've never had anybody pee out 1 liter as soon as I hooked up a kidney, so congratulations. And all the doctors like that were in the surgery clapped, so that was really cool for me. Wow, this vlog is long. I apologize and I don't apologize. Hopefully all of you watch this. It's a good story. I remember doing that, and then, like, after that, I was kind of just, like, ready to take on the world. Legit. I was ready to take on the world. I was so frustrated because I couldn't do anything. Like, I had a pick line. I had, this, that, and the other thing, and I couldn't move around and do stuff. Like, I wanted to be at home playing video games with my feet up on a chair, just chilling, you know. I just had to sit there, and I had to wait, and I had to do, like, physical therapy. I had to go on walks. I had to go to class. I literally had to go to class every day, which, whatever. I knew half the stuff they already told me, so, yeah. And it was funny because they would always come in. It was usually, my nurse was usually, Teresa or Rachel, or I think his name was Sam, I want to say, would always come in like, Lucas, there's a class at 10:45. You gonna go? I'm like, well, what is it about? They're like, oh, it's about, I'm trying to think of, like, one of the classes was proper hydration and taking care of your transplant. I'm like, oh, so I need to just drink a lot of water? They're like, yeah, don't go. So some of the classes I skipped because I knew it. And it was really boring because, like, the chairs, although the chairs were comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. My arm hurts from holding that camera. I should have done this on a tripod. But whatever. Anyway, I'm going to change the angle up a little bit. Let's do that. There we go. Okay, that's really hot right there. My heat's blasting up at me. But yeah. So, we did all that. Did the classes. And then I was discharged on 3/17, I think. Was it 3/17? Wait, what? Hold on. I gotta go back to last year. Because calendars confuse me. Okay, I'm in 16. I need to be in 17, brother. No, I was released on 3/16. Okay, Stone Cold theme. But yeah. So I got out on Thursday, yeah. So then, about a week and a half went by. It was smooth sailing from there, and I moved again because my camera died. So it was, or not died, but my memory, I ran out of memory in my card. So it was smooth sailing, and then, one day I woke up, and I had, like, pain under my belly button. I was like, this is not good. And I remember I was like, okay, maybe it's just, you know, something random, like I slept wrong or something. And so I kind of waited, and then I rolled over. I was like, if I roll over, maybe it'll feel better. So I rolled over, and I was like, okay, still not feeling any better. And I felt worse. My stomach started gurgling. I'm like, this is not good. this memory card is so hot. I'm gonna put it in my computer right now to make it hotter. So I was like, okay, this is not good. I ran to the bathroom because I felt sick. I ended up throwing up a few times. I'm like, okay, that's not good. Came back in my room and I was freezing cold and sweating at the same time. So I'm like, well, that's not good. Not supposed to be sweating and freezing at the same time. So I took my temperature and it was like 100.3 or 103 point or 102.3, something like that. I don't remember. And I remember like calling my mom. I was like, hey, you know, I don't feel good. I have a fever. So we called up to Madison. They had me come up there. Went up there and all that good stuff. And they're like, you have an infection in your incision at the bottom. And I guess it was in my whole incision, which is crazy to think about. And I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do? And they're like, well, we just ordered some stuff. We'll be back in a minute. And they still hadn't really told me what they were going to do. Hold on. I'm trying to multitask, but I can't. They still hadn't told me what they were going to do, but they come back with syringes, a scalpel, and something else. I forgot what else. And saline, I believe. They're like, we have to cut you open. I was like, what? What? Say what? So they opened up the bottom of my incision, and all the fluid drained out, and I have never seen a more horrifying look on a nurse's face than I did at that time. And it was kind of sad because, like, as I said before, Teresa and Rachel were some of my favorite nurses. Rachel, definitely, we got along really great. Just bonded over some weird, like, not weird things, but just bonded. She was really funny and encouraged me to do some stuff, like walking and stuff, when I didn't want to. We bonded over California, too, because that's where she's from. So, yeah. Anyway, sidetrack, off track from that. And I remember we kind of, or I was just, like, laying there, and this hurts, okay? Think about having a maybe a little more halfway sealed cut on your arm. And then you take, we'll just use this as an example. You take a knife, and you press the back of the knife, because that's what you did. They used the back of a scalpel. You take the back of the scalpel, or the knife, and you push open on that incision to reopen it. That's what they did, guys. And they did not numb me to do this. I did this fully conscious, sound of mind, sound of body. And I'm like, that hurt. Like I said, stuff drained out. I'd never seen a more horrifying look on a nurse's face. Yeah. So then I kind of just laid around, and I felt a lot better. Like, that pain that I had, within seconds, gone when they started draining that fluid. Because it was building pressure on my nerves. So, and then I remember that night, actually, I think I had Teresa. And it was funny because she was like, well, miss me much? Or she's like, you just miss me so much, you went and rubbed germs in your incision, huh? I was like, yeah, that's how much I miss you and that's how much I loved you, as I had to come back and see you. She's like, well, I'm not going to say that I'm glad you're here, but I'm glad you're here. So she's just really funny. She reminds me of my friend Melissa, who I love and adore, and she actually posted a GIF on my timeline today of a Hooters girl holding a kidney, because she's like, I know yours and Kevin's love for Hooters. So it's actually funny. Janet sent me that as well today, so that was kind of funny. Yeah, so we started talking, and she's like, I don't even know how we started talking about it, but she's like, oh, hold up. That's how we got on that point of conversation. So rewind just a quick second. I'm gonna, like, hold on. So during my transplant, the first initial stay, because I had peed so much, my sodium dropped down from like 140 or 150 to 120, I think. And I I don't remember that. I was going like crazy almost, my mom said. And I was like pulling at my IVs and scratching my chest and going like this. And I kind of vaguely remember that. And like, I remember them asking if I knew where I was. And I remember saying Rochelle Hospital. They're like, no, Lucas. And they're like, who's the president? And I said Barack Obama. So that's how we got on this conversation that I'm about to talk about now. She's like, so Lucas, who's the president? Like, as a little joke, just to kind of make me laugh, because I still wasn't feeling that great. I was like, Donald Trump, unfortunately, but give me some time and I'll be president. She's like, well, what's your campaign theme going to be? And I played When I'm President by Extreme. If you don't know that song, it's a really good song. And she's like, you're going to have the most kick-ass campaign, right? I said, hell yeah, I am. So that happened. And then I remember the next day, I woke up, I felt a lot better. And I remember I just heard a knock on the door. And I was like, another nurse. But it was Rachel, thank goodness, because, like I said, she's my favorite. She's like, hey, why are you here? Go back home. And I was like, sorry. I said, why are you here? Because she had told me she was going on vacation. So, yeah. But she's like, oh, no, I am here. And so that was kind of cool. And so that whole ordeal happened. And then that next day, they opened me up again because they still didn't have enough fluid out. And I had to have what was called a wound vac. Those things suck balls so hard. Oh my god. It's just so stupid. I don't even want to get into it because of how pissed off I was about it. And I had that thing until June. Maybe the end of May. Maybe June. May, June. Something like that. I don't remember. So I had that. And then that was really, after I got out of there, I had that wound vac, like I said. It was really smooth sailing from there. It has been. I mean, there's been a couple bumps and bruises along the way. You know, I've been sick a couple times. I've had a bunch of doctor's appointments. But other than that, I'm doing really well for my year anniversary. And I know this vlog is so long. I'm at like probably 30 minutes or so. This might take the cake for longest vlog ever for me. I'm going to try not to edit out a bunch of stuff. Just kind of keep this as is. So, yeah. But, to Kevin, if you ever watch this, thank you so much for giving me your kidney to let me have a new lease on life, to let me fulfill the dreams that I actually have, even if some of the dreams that I do have I will never complete. You know, like, I know I'm never going to be a wrestler because of having a kidney transplant and scoliosis. But other dreams that I have, like, anything I really want to do now, I can do it. I have the kidney. I have the ability to do it. I can go out there and I can set my dreams and get them done. And this first year was kind of just all fun and games for me. And like I said to Kevin, thank you for allowing me to have the time of my life that I have. So thank you, Kevin. I love you so much. But now, like I said, I can do all this stuff. The future is looking bright for me, I feel like. Going to Full Sail, more than likely. I'm going to tour that school in July, on July 22nd. I will be in Florida, the Orlando area, from the 18th until the 20th. Or 18th to the 23rd, excuse me. I'm losing my mind. So that'll be fun. I can't wait to do that. Moving next year to Florida, probably in February with the endorsement. I'm so excited, so happy for the future. I hope you guys are too. I know I say this all the time, but these vlogs will get better one day. It's going to be more than me just sitting in my room talking to you guys. It's going to be more activity, more fun. WrestleMania is coming up in 30 days, less than 30 days now. We're leaving in 27 days, I feel like. Maybe less than that. We're leaving in 26 days, guys. And it's 30 days till WrestleMania. I think it's less than 30 because this is 9th. Maybe it is 30. It is 30. So 26 days we are leaving for WrestleMania. So get ready for that awesome road trip vlog. that I'm going to be doing, or vlogs, I guess I should say. But yeah, guys, it's been a blast. The last year's been awesome. Thank you guys so much for staying through this. I don't even know how long it is. You can see it somewhere on the screen how long this is. But thank you so much. I love you guys so much for watching, for supporting me, everything. And I will tell you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and rock on.